Here now is Lisa Bell and Candace Campos with Florida Foodie. Sponsored by Light Orlando, delivering hope together.
Welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Lisa Bell, and today we are coming to you from Ocoee.
I love this on location day, and I'm Candace Campos. Now today we are joined by a chef who took his grandmother's recipe and wanted to sell it, but you know what he did? He sold it out of the truck of his car, but now he's been moving up. Now, even now, having his own food truck.
That's right. We are so happy to be joined today by Daniel Mercedes Jr. with the Dancing Empanada.
Hello, how we doing?
Thank you so much for joining
Of
us.
course. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Dancing Empanada.
But this is Grandma's recipe, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so how did it come about that you started making empanadas?
It was about 8 years ago. I was looking for a little side hustle to do, and just remembered Grandma making the empanadas, so that's what I decided to do. So we talked about it, and she gave me the recipes, and I started making the empanadas and going to barbershops and mechanic shops out of the car, and just to see how we grew and they loved it, I stuck with it.
And was this in Central Florida 8 years ago?
Yes, Central Florida, Orlando area, Oak Ridge area. That's where we was at.
And when you were doing it with your grandmother, did you have a special role, like in the kitchen? Were you the one, with the fork?
Yeah, the fork. I think everyone starts with the forking.
Yes.
And then once you get into the cooking and have the recipe, you know what you're doing with the recipe, then you can go and as the cooking, But yeah, I started as a forker.
So how do you put an empanada together? Walk us through the process that Grandma taught you.
What is an empanada to start off?
All right, empanada is a flour. We use a flour. There's some countries that use corn, but we use flour. So what we would do is obviously cook the meat first. So we cook 100 pounds of beef, 100 pounds of chicken, throw the seasoning in it with the and then once we do the cooking, we take it to the workstation area. And the machine, what you would do is you put the disc onto the machine, put your meat in it and your cheese, and then just crush the machine, and it crushes it and makes the empanada.
Okay, and it wasn't always machine made though.
No.
When you started 8 years ago,
it was forks.
This was all by hand.
All by hand, yeah, doing it by the fork. So when we didn't have the machine, you would do the process, have a water bowl, wet the disc itself, and then go ahead and put the whatever ingredient you're gonna put in it and close it up, and then you actually do the forking.
The way that Grandma taught you.
The way Grandma taught me, yes.
I mean, and this is a family business. You and your wife, you said that you started this first, then you met your wife, and she's the one that really kind of
she ran with
set
the
it
vision.
on fire.
Yeah, she ran with the vision. I needed her in my life to get to where we're at today.
So what were you doing prior to making empanadas, and what was the final thing that said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do?
I was working at a TTH. It's the transition home. It's for part of the Department of Corrections, a transition home. I was there working there for about a year and a half, and my shift was like 5 in the morning to about 3 in the afternoon, and that's when I got to the point where I was looking for a side hustle.
Like, no more
yeah,
of this.
no more of this. Waking up early, wanted to do something for myself. So as I was working there, that's when I started doing it on weekends out of the car. Then once I got to the place where I was making the same as my check, that's when I decided to give my 2 weeks notice, and I ran with that.
How long did that take you?
Took me about a year.
Okay.
A year.
Were you
scary?
It is scary, but were you surprised at how lucrative this was?
I was very surprised to see that if you put in the work, and the product is good, that you could make money off of it. So I was surprised and excited at the same time that I was able to leave my job and work for myself.
So what's the hardest thing about kind of running a food truck? Because it seems so self-contained, but it's a grind.
It's the hardest part, I say, is what my wife does, which is making the empanadas and also getting us jobs, contracts. Yeah. I think that's the hardest part. Being in here is the easiest part, driving the food truck is the easiest part. Working it is easy because we only have empanadas, so it's not like we're in the food truck prepping anything or anything like that. Everything's already prepped. So to me, the hardest part is my wife's part, which is getting us jobs and getting us clients and things like that.
Being able to set up shop somewhere.
Correct.
Yes, because you can't just roll up as much as you would like to some of these farmers markets and things like that.
That's right.
You have to be invited and accepted.
That's right.
But going back to what we were saying, this really really turned out to be very lucrative for you. Within a year, you were able to quit your job. Within 4 years, you went from selling out of the back of your car to buying a food truck. And you also made a goal for yourself at that time. Tell us about that.
The goal was to go ahead and work the business 4 years and go ahead and buy property in North Carolina and be able to go ahead and actually retire. That's what me and the wife are planning. So retirement was the plan in 4 years.
So it's 4 years later.
4 years later, and we're here.
Are you taking Dancing Empanada to North Carolina?
We're not. We're actually selling the business with the recipe, the empanada machine, everything that comes with the business, the name, the brand.
And Abuela's recipe.
And the recipe, that's right.
Wow.
And what is astonishing to us, though, is you said you had that goal for 4 years. You were able to quit your job, and you've been able to purchase property with some tiny homes. So you're going to be starting a whole new business because of Dancing Empanadas.
Because of Dancing Empanada, yes. And I'm very grateful for it. It's a great business to have. It's just our journey's over with it.
And so when you started out, I imagine you just had 1 or 2 flavors.
Yes, we started with the beef and the chicken.
Well, but you also had rice and beans.
We have the rice and bean as well. So we started with a few, and then as we started progressing, we started adding them to the menu. And now we have 14 different kinds.
14 different flavors.
14 different flavors.
That is unbelievable. And what's cool, because you said that your wife at home gets everything going, you freeze it. What's the process from making it to now selling it?
Well, we have freezers at the warehouse, so we have the freezers to keep them at. Then, like before a job, we'll go ahead and take out as many. Like this job, I knew how many I was going to need, so I would just take them out and then put them in the refrigerator, and then they'll be ready to go.
How many empanadas are you selling on a monthly basis?
Wow.
On a monthly basis?
On a monthly basis, maybe
daily,
about
weekly.
5,000.
5,000 a month.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
Yeah.
And so
probably more than 5,000.
And does your wife make them all herself, or she has to have help?
Yeah, we have help. Like for big jobs, we'll have help. Right now, since we're at the selling process, we're not working as much as we used to. So right now, it's just me and her doing it. I do the cooking. She does the making of the empanadas.
So when you come up to the window, the empanadas are still cold. You're the one that you're kind of.
I'm frying them right there, so they're freshly made.
Oh.
Yes, freshly made.
So it's a crunchy on the outside, gooey on the inside.
Oh yes.
All right, what are you serving up today?
We have our chicken, we have the beef, we have cheese, we have our taco one, which is our favorite, mine and my wife's favorite.
Why is that one your favorite?
Yeah.
It's just the mix that it has. It's beef, ground beef with taco seasoning, cheddar cheese, and then we put a splash of refried beans in it to make it the taco.
Okay.
So that one is my favorite. Then we're serving everything but pork here today, and then apple pie we discontinued.
Okay, so tell me about this dessert, because there's a guava and cheese.
There's a guava and cheese, and we also have the
Yes.
churro cheesecake, which is my favorite. So it's a cheesecake in the empanada, and then we just dip it in a cinnamon sugar.
And how does the family feel about some of these non-traditional, recipes?
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it. It's different. It makes us the Dancing Empanada. There's a lot of empanada trucks out there, but that's what makes us different, is that we have our own little twist to it.
What do your kids? What do your kids think of mom and dad owning a empanada?
They love it. They love it. In the beginning, they worked with us and went to farmers markets and stuff, and for summer vacation, they came. It took them, each one of them, a day, and they helped us here. So they made some extra money in the summer.
That's always nice.
Yeah, they love it. They love it. They were kind of sad that we're selling, but they understood now what's the next journey, and they're just happy for us with that.
So what's the process of selling this? So if someone's watching or listening to this podcast, can they just call you up?
It's going to be fbxbrokers.com, and our broker's name is Dan. If they go on to that website, they'll be able to go ahead and find our business there and contact him, and he could go ahead and give them all the information that's needed.
This has been your heart and soul for 8 years, and now you're moving on to that next chapter. Are you surprised that you were able to meet your goal of, selling enough to buy property in North Carolina?
I'm not surprised, because my dad always taught me when you work hard and you're persistent at something, it works out. So here I am 4 years later, and me and the wife are where we need to be.
And when you have a great product.
That's right. Product is everything.
Okay, so what should Candace and I try today?
Yeah.
I would do the taco.
The
and
taco.
then, of course, the guava and cheese, because I know
that
you've been
too.
talking about that one.
Ain't that obvious? I love a good guava and cheese.
Yeah, and the taco, I would recommend the taco if you like refried beans. If not, the barbecue chicken mac and cheese is a good seller as well, and then the Philly cheesesteak if you want a steak.
All right.
I don't know what to say. I have to make a decision. So
It's tough. Yeah.
while I make the decision, we are actually going to be taking a quick break, so that way we can make our decision. And
Yeah. And when we come back, we're going to be sampling some Dancing Empanadas. So stay with
oh my
us.
gosh, I'm so excited.
Welcome back to Florida Foodie. I'm Lisa Bell.
And I'm Candace Campos. We had a commercial break to decide what we wanted, and I can't decide. So I'm just gonna let Chef do it.
That's right. We are inside the Dancing Empanada food truck. We're here in Ocoee today on location. So exciting. I love being inside a food truck. I feel like you and I could serve some customers right now. Yeah,
I think we're gonna do that later during the event.
We are no expert. The expert here is Daniel Mercedes Jr. This smells amazing. You came inside, you fried up an empanada. This is what it starts out as.
Yeah, this is what it looks like,
yes.
This
right?
is what it looks like when you have it frozen by the
Okay.
dozen. We put them in our packs here.
And you said this is a flour shell, which
Yeah.
is you can have corn or you can have flour.
Correct, and we do the flour.
Okay. Why do you prefer the flour?
It's just a Puerto Rican way to do it.
Okay.
More like Argentinian and other countries do the corn.
Okay.
So we just stuck with the recipe and do the flour.
And back in the day, 8 years ago, when you were using Grandma's recipe, you made it all by hand. Now you've grown so much, you're using a machine, but you say it's better with the machine.
These are
Yes,
thick.
Yeah.
it's better because
Yeah.
of that. I don't know if you've had an empanada from anywhere else, but it's like more air than meat, and it's because of the forking.
Okay.
But with the machine, it allows you to put a lot more meat in it. So I fried up here chicken and then beef here.
Yeah, so tell us what that process is like. It's like a round piece of dough.
Yep, it's a round piece of dough. You put it on the machine. The machine's about this big. Put it on the machine, and then you put your meat in it, your cheese, and then it has like a little clamp. You clamp it, and it closes it down and throws it down.
And that's your wife's job. She is cranking
That's
these
it.
out, 60,000
Literally.
of these a year approximately. So this is one of 2 food trucks you acquired within the last 4 years. Had you ever been inside of a food truck prior to?
Never.
No. Okay.
Never. First time.
Yeah, so it's a little cozy in here. Give us a
Yes.
little tour of your space.
Yep. Well, we got here the sinks
Yeah.
and stuff. Then, of course, we have all our inventory stuff, like our plates, napkins, and stuff up there. This is a food warmer for when we do like big events.
Yeah.
We could have them pre-made.
Yeah.
Our commercial refrigerator, and then
So how many empanadas can you sell on one occasion from a food truck?
A lot.
wow, a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. I don't know how many, but the most I've done.
I was gonna ask you, do you have a record?
Yeah, the record is the Fusion Fest,
That's a big
and
event.
it's
Yeah.
about we did about maybe I don't know how many empanadas, but we did about $3,200 in like 7 hours.
Wow.
Fantastic.
Wow.
And so you were saying this is Grandma's recipe. I mean, was she able to live long enough to be able to see
She
this
was.
dream?
She was. And she
Yeah.
was very happy, very excited to see how far we have taken it. She passed away in March. May she rest in peace. But she was very, very proud of what we accomplished.
And did she have a favorite empanada?
She liked beef and chicken. When I went to go
Okay.
see her, I would take her a half a dozen of beef and a half a dozen of chicken for her and Grandpa.
Would she critique them?
Oh, yeah. She
Give her
said
your-
they were better than her.
Oh, okay.
That in itself
Yes.
is a big thing
Yeah,
to
so that
be
was a
proud
big
of.
compliment.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have 3 fryers here. Is that simply for volume, or are you trying to separate flavors?
Yeah, It's three. We have 3 fries for the volume, so I could be able to get more empanadas fried. So what I basically do is, if I'm in a big event, I'll use one for chicken, the other one for beef, and that way. And then of course you have to put one down so that the empanadas don't float up.
Okay.
Okay.
You've already made 2. What are these? The tacos?
This is the chicken, and this is beef.
Okay.
Chicken and
Can
beef.
you fry us up a guava and cheese?
Of course.
Okay, because we gotta have dessert.
Yeah,
I mean,
of
we're
course.
about to taste these, but
All right, so tell us what
so
you're doing
this
right
is
now.
the process.
So it's the process. Just
you
put
just
it in.
Pop it in.
then close it up, because if not, the empanada will float in the oil.
Have you been burned? I feel like I'm gonna get burned here.
I've been burned. You're not, but I have been burned, and it's
Things
not
are getting
nice.
real hot.
It's not nice.
And how is it working in here when it's like July in Central Florida? I have to imagine
It's tough.
Yeah.
This summer was very tough.
Yeah. Well, hot.
It was about 103 outside, so in here it's about 120. So
Wow.
and then it's not worth to have the AC because the fryers are in, so it would just go up. So it's basically a waste to have the AC. So it's tough.
All right, how long do you cook these for?
2 to 3 minutes.
Okay.
2 to 3 minutes and it'll be done.
Is it different for different flavors?
No.
Or no?
Same
And how
thing.
do you know when it's done?
You see this one's already starting to get crispy.
Oh,
Yeah.
So the guava takes a little less than that. So maybe about in another minute or so it'll be ready. But that's when you see from this color, when it gets to this color, you know it's ready.
How do you keep track of which ones have been in there longer?
Just doing it for so long.
I guess.
I put it like, let's say if you had a beef chicken and a cheese, I'll put the beef chicken and the cheese. And then when I'm taking it out, I know exactly what to tell you, beef chicken and
Yeah, because
cheese.
they're not written on there.
No. You don't have like
We did so
a
many
beef or
empanadas.
chicken written to you.
So many that we do, it would be so much to
Yeah.
go ahead and have to stamp each and every
Yeah.
one of them.
Okay, so we're gonna dig into these. I also wanted to try the taco though that you highly recommend.
Okay, yes, of course.
While we're here.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, when in the food truck, go all out. Yeah.
That's the guava.
Okay. So we just
They all look delicious.
just pull and grab, Daniel? I guess.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
You want
Yeah,
me
how
to
do
do
you-
2 tacos?
Sure.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's the beef.
That is what you want. Okay, my god. I just washed my hands.
Now, how do you eat this? You just pick it up?
Yeah.
Pick it up and
No
then...
knife and fork?
No way.
What
It's
about
like a Puerto Rican
what about
hot
a sauce?
pocket,
Do you have any sauces?
Yeah, we have...
Do people have a certain sauce? Is it good?
I usually tell people not to have the sauce because
no
the
sauce.
seasoning, we have so much seasoning in them.
Okay, so tell us about your beef recipe.
I am now
beef?
dancing empanada.
Yeah, that's what I
amazing.
tell my customers, that the seasoning makes the palate dance. So that's why we're called Dancing Empanada. The beef is just seasoned Spanish seasoning.
And it's spilling out of here.
Yeah,
There's
just
so much meat. Yeah.
Yes, and that's the thing. That's what we're known for. That every bite is gonna have meat in it.
It almost tastes buttery to me. It's really
It's so
good.
good.
I'm
It's
glad
so
you
good.
like it.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'm gonna leave my bite over here. All right, and then this was the chicken. Do you
That's
want
the chicken.
You want to do the opening? Okay. All right, ready? All right.
You're a pro.
Want to hear the crunch?
I love it.
Oh, look at that.
It's like ground chicken.
Yes.
Yeah.
The meat market grounds it for me.
Okay. And what are the seasoning differences between
Why are
the
you
beef
being
and
so
the chicken?
It's the same. Same
It's the
seasoning.
same. Okay.
The only thing that goes a little different is the taco, because we throw a little bit of refried bean in it. And then it has taco seasoning, so we're not putting the Puerto Rican seasoning in it, you know?
When you say Puerto Rican seasoning, for someone who doesn't know, what's like the biggest oomph?
The sofrito.
The sofrito,
Yeah,
right?
sofrito, adobo,
Right, that's
sazon,
Yeah.
garlic. The garlic
good.
is very important as well,
Yeah.
you know? So.
Oh my gosh,
This
these are
looks
so
good.
good.
I know.
These are so good. What else did you get, Lisa?
I ordered a taco. The Philly
and the
cheesesteak,
guava
that's
cheese.
interesting. I can't eat anymore. But
The Philly, yes. Philly is also a good one. It's a certain steak with green peppers. We don't put onions or mushrooms in it. With the green pepper, and then we do mozzarella cheese.
these are good.
Do your kids love the empanadas?
Yes, they do.
What's their favorite?
My daughter's favorite is the pork, the
Okay.
pernil, which is the Puerto Rican pork. And my son's is the barbecue chicken mac and cheese. And then,
course
of
it
course, they have the churro cheesecake for dessert.
That one, so yeah. Oh my gosh. And there's no nice way of eating these.
Oh, no. It's messy.
Uh-huh.
Dig right in.
That's it. Yeah, I have people sometimes ask me for forks or something. I'm like, oh, we don't have none of that. This is finger food. So.
You must have known, though, you were onto something when you were selling out of your car.
Oh, yes. I knew we had something going on special when I seen how much. I was selling maybe about 60, 70 empanadas for lunch.
So where would you find customers?
I would just go to the barber shops and the mechanic shops because I know that they're busy and don't really have time to go out.
Right.
So that's where I decided to start,
And
which
the
was very
customers
smart.
too, 'cause
and then the
sometimes
customers
that's
as well, getting haircuts as well. Yes. So it worked out. Worked out well.
And of course, we love your shirt.
Thank you so
Tell us
much.
where the Dancing Empanada came from, because you weren't always known as the Dancing Empanada.
No, we was actually known as Kingdom Empanada.
Okay.
And
That looks good.
my wife decided to give it a little special touch. And
the
she
woman
came up
touch.
with, that's right, she came up with the Dancing Empanada, and that's where we stayed. The Dancing Empanada. So we love it, it's catchy. And everybody tells us all the time they love our logo and our name.
Yeah.
So that's all the props go to my wife on that one.
And you were saying earlier when you first started the food truck, you were doing rice and whole like entrees and stuff like that, but there's so much food sometimes that's left over. This, I mean, the overhead, I mean, you freeze and then what happens to the empanadas that you don't end up frying?
Today, whatever I don't end up frying, I'll just put in the freezer right back here.
Yeah.
Pull out for tomorr's job.
That's fantastic.
So
I bet that
that's the
saved
best.
you a lot of money. And
It did,
food.
and it just, that's like the only advice I have to someone that's trying to start a food truck, to minimize their menu.
Be as efficient as
Yeah,
possible.
because when you have too much, it's just a lot going on. When you concentrate on one thing, it makes it a whole lot easier.
Right.
We have like
That's
less
the
than a
guava
minute.
That's the guava and cheese.
I already see the guava.
That looks amazing.
Oh yeah.
And I'm afraid that this is going to be really hot. But I want to break into
You're
this
not supposed
taco
to. You're not supposed to like just like break this open, but I am.
And here's the taco one. This is his favorite. Ooh, it is hot.
Oh, the
yeah,
guava.
this looks cheesy.
See? And then the
Before I go to dessert, I'm trying this taco.
You have to get close to her on this one. Let me eat here in peace.
Delicious.
That one's my favorite.
The seasoning is amazing.
Thank you.
Yep. How's the guava and cheese?
Better than a kind of
I need a napkin.
I do. She's my
Daniel
friend.
Mercedes, thank you so much. This was
Thank
fun.
you,
The
guys.
Dancing Empanada, fantastic.
Good luck with the future in North Carolina as well.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Florida Foodie. We'd also like to thank our guest, Daniel Mercedes Jr. You can find his business online at thedancingempanadas.com. You can also find it on Facebook and Instagram. Be sure to follow Lisa Bell online. Search Lisa Bell News on Facebook and Instagram. You can also find Candace Campos on social media. On Facebook, search Candace Campos News, and on Instagram, search Candace Campos WKMG. Also, a big thank you to our technical producers, Derek Mosier and Ryan Haley, our director, Rich Burns, and our entire production staff. I'm the show's producer, Thomas Mates. Please take the time to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify or wherever you stream podcasts. And you can find videos of all of our podcasts on clickorlando.com and on YouTube. Just search for Florida Foodie.